Hello and welcome to the Shunter Guy, something a little bit different for you guys. As you can see, I've got my team build here that was featured in the Great Model Railway Challenge. So I'm going to switch it off because it's a little bit noisy, and then I'll explain to you how I built it and what it's built of and how it operates. As to the show, we were given very strict guidelines what we could or couldn't do, and one of them was the budget. We had a real tight budget. We could have gone outside and put a bit of money towards something, but that would add pressure in near the end stages where we could be eliminated because we'd have gone over budget. So it was all about keeping within restraints of what we could or couldn't do. So we were all given the task to do one pre-build. So this really is my pre-build, and it was made from scrap bits of plastic and some scrap plastic card and a couple of actual models you can see there. These are actually wheels kits that you can actually buy. So let me explain briefly, and then we'll show you how it all works and what it all does. So this is the wheels kit, and this is what started it. This actually came from my layout here. It was actually over the back there, and it was grey, and I resprayed it, and then that sort of set the ideas, got me thinking how I could use it. When we sat down with the guys, obviously we were given the theme Water World from the production crew, and we had to build something that would fit in line with water world, sea, static water, running water. Obviously that's all would give us more of a stead to get through where we needed to get. So I took on the challenge to build a water ride. Now I've seen Fowler make a system. It's a 00 gauge water ride that you can buy, and I think it's just over 200 quid roundabout. Lovely system, but it's just pre-built, pre-made. Stick it on. It wouldn't have looked good, so I had to build something. And this was where I got to. So you can see I've got my little carriage shed. That's what started it. I thought that would make a good sort of covering to get onto the ride, and that's where my brain started thinking, oh, let's make a figure of 8 water ride that will go up. Now I didn't realise how complicated making something just as simple as this. It's really pushed my modelling to its extreme, and I've learned a lot of things from this. This is probably one of my biggest life learners in things, especially in model making. So let me explain to you some of the plastic you see here. This was all scrap plastic that was actually thrown into a skip. I kindly asked if I could use it, and I was openly putting my arms. I could have bought some for about I think 2 meters of plastic trunking is what they use on electrical cables to hide them, and this is what it's used. So I've used this trunking stuff, which was just the right width for my little trucks to go whizzing through, and then I've had to build all the curved sections in plastic card. So plastic card, and then this bit that's raised had to be made of plastic card, and I put a fabric on there to propel the little trucks from this end to the top to slide down again. Now it completely runs with water. It's not running with water, not in the shed, but it will run with water, and I will show you a little demonstration of that in a little while. So let's have a little close-up of what it's all about and how it all runs. So I've switched the shed lights off for a second, so you can sort of see the nighttime running, all the flashing lights on it, and the lights on the side of the ride itself. And you imagine with the running water in, it actually looks really nice, which you'll probably see in a little while. I'll bring the camera around to underneath the actual canopy of the actual engine shed, and you can see the flashing LEDs in there. So you can see there the LEDs are actually strobing, they look really cool. That just gives it a bit of ambience as the little trucks go through the tunnel there. So one of the features that was added for the show, which is not actually on it, and this was the little loco you see here. I added that as if to power it up, and that was one of my projects that I added for many months ago, and I thought it really looked sort of cool adding if it's powering the ride, and that was featured on the show. The other thing you can see is the little hut to the left there. That is a little scratch build hut that was very similar to the Backman work hut. And at the back there of the engine, just see a tiny goods wagon that's parked up, and that's actually housing the Bluetooth device that I could switch on and off the the motor that runs the actual conveyor belt, because I didn't want it to get wet. So that was a nice little feature hidden away, little wagon. The wagons, these are just little Bachmann wagons that I bought from a model railway show for 50p, and I was going to make some nice wagons for the layout, and they ended up being little boats, and I had to make these a very specific weight, so I shall talk about that in a little while. Because this was the science bit, getting the weight right in the wagons to make sure that they climbed up the conveyor belt, and some I made were too heavy and they didn't make it, so I literally had to weigh each individual wagon and make sure that they were specifically right to actually get up there. So I'm just going to remove the wagons. As you can see, the conveyor belt, take this off as well. There we go. So as you see, the conveyor belt here, this is all running through Lego gears. I've used the tooth and cogs there, and you've got a little engine that powers the turning of all them bits, and that creates the drive for the belt, which is the other side here, just there, which I'll show you. So the conveyor belt's in shot. You can see all the gearing. If you can see, and I turn that round, you can see all the gears twisting from the bottom there to the top. And this motor here is driving it through a power pack. So if we put a little truck on there, normally that would come to there, lift onto the conveyor belt, and then once it's on there, the ride will power it up to the top. She looks absolutely stunned on her face. Hopefully it'll make it to the top. Normally they slide down, but we'll see what it does. And that's pretty much how the ride works. And then when it gets to the top here, she falls off the edge and then shoots down in the water system, runs it all the way down, which will just go whee. And that's how the ride works. So that is the conveyor belt. So just take the camera off. So this actual conveyor belt system, I've actually made, I think I've made 5 or 6 of these. I've really lost count now, but I've made quite a few of these, and this was the only one that actually worked in its entirety until its fullest. So I put a lot of work in to try and develop that, and it had to be a certain height. I'll bring that down. You can see it's quite high, so I had to get the angle right and the speed of the conveyor belt. So there was a lot of science trying to work this out, but I think we managed it. It worked quite well, very successful, and pretty much that is my little ride. Certainly good fun, and a great little project, and certainly had a lot of fun with it. So there's one of my little tiny little step ladders that I made. Again, that's all made out of brass, and that's just sort of glued to the side of so people can climb up onto the ride. Not the safest as ladders. If you look over here, you'll see a little tunnel portal there. So this has got a little skirt that catches any drips, and that's very important. They drip and then go back into this little container tank that drains down and actually pumps back up. This is actually the tube that feeds the power to the pump there. So the water actually comes out them 2 little nozzles, and it travels up this pipe. So it's a circulation from drain to pump up, and that's what the where the water comes from, in that point there. So there you go, that is our wagon ride and one of our projects, well, my project of the Shunter Guys. Don't forget, any more projects the team are doing, we'll share them with everyone else, and you should hopefully see all the other guys' projects and things, and all some other gossip that's going on. So anyway, take care you guys, and we'll catch you all very soon from the Shunter Guys. Cheerio.